Okay. Sound is working. Cameras are working. Mostly ready to go. Let's see what we can find. Hey, Pacific. Hey, Kalethon. How's it going? Totally sure what that is. Chat, can you tell me what this is? Start a week of vacation tomorrow. Well, that sounds nice. A buckyball. That's a good guess. Does look a little bit like a buckyball. Probably pollen grain or... Oscillatory is glowing a little bit to Hey Jelkson, aren't you streaming? Are you here while you're streaming? I'm doing okay. Just getting a little, you know, light microscope time in that I would share. That's bright. Ilkson, are you currently streaming? You're here hanging out while you're streaming? How do I make the message have color? Which message? Like if you want to highlight a message? Oh, you see the bot message as red. I don't know. Just sort of does that, I guess. Oh, that's a highlighted message. I don't know why it's highlighting for you, though. Oh, yeah. If you're whispered or mentioned, then you get included as a highlighted message. Good point. And also give a shout out to Pacific Plankton. Who's gonna be up next? I think. Coming up at midnight. I don't know if I'll make it to midnight. It sounds like maybe my wife wants to record some lecture material for her class. So just doing a short little stream, I guess. Music is a little loud in my ears. I mean, it's also kind of loud for you guys. If you want, you can start early. I don't control what you do. You know. Close. Fast-moving things are possible to keep up with. Way off in the corner. These green blobs you see are duckweed. Lemna. And I just wanted to sort of take a look at some. Keep making it do the wrong thing. Trying to decide between making it glow too much and not glow enough. Yeah, these are duckweed. And, right before I started streaming, I actually looked through the slide to try to see if I could find anything cool in it. And there's actually a diving beetle in here. That is a worm. And that's a cool looking ciliate. Bag. Gonna get sucked off the edge if I'm not careful. Right over against the edge. There's no cover slip on this sample, so hello. Copepod. And there's a chironomid. Tell if that's alive. It looks like maybe it's not. But I've been fooled before because oh no, it's alive. They'll just kind of sit there sometimes. That one's got a little bit of an arm. Hey, Whisker. Ourselves a chironomid larva. Wants to show us the backside, I guess. And hello, Evalazi. And one of those little bags. It's super twitchy. Doing a lot of jumping around. Becoming a regular on here, Whiskery. Good thing. Yeah, he's extra twitchy. Doesn't want to sit in any kind of a focal plane. Oh, there's a Oplia smolt, or maybe it's a dead one. Maybe it's still alive. I guess if I wait long enough, it might move. Music is very menacing for ambient. So much tension. There's a bunch of oscillatoria. Nest to these little ciliates. Hanging out in this duckweed. Hey, mind of a snail. Get control of my mouse. How you doing? Hello. A ton of this. It's just paramecium. They're all over in the sample. I like to hang out in the duckweed. And there's this little spinny guy. That's a ciliate of some type. Too bright. There you go. I'm gonna sit there and spin. I guess we could take a look at it. What I want you to do is stare deeply into the center of the ciliate. Listen to the music. Breathe very deeply. I'm gonna start counting backwards from 10. 9. 8. 7. 6. When I get to 1, you will follow the channel. What a cool looking little guy. He just spins. That's all it's doing. So around the outside edge here, just barely sort of make out the cilia. What if we're already following? Yeah, you could unfollow me and refollow me if you'd like. I don't care. It's up to you. If you're already following, then you will become a chicken when I get to 1. You will cluck like a chicken. I want to make you feel like I'm spinning him with my arrow, but I'm not. Spins, that's all it does. Merry-go-round. It's like a perfect circle. I don't know if I have this one in my book. I haven't seen anything that looks.
Daddy is cute, Daddy is strong, Daddy is brave, and Daddy will not stop.
It looks like my hypnosis worked on Killathon perfectly. Overworked on it. Thank you for subscribing. 9 months. It's our Twitch baby. Twitch baby, a subscription baby. A little rotifer back here too. Oh, no. We got a raid too. Perfectly timed. Let me go back to hypnosis. Hang on. We'll go back to the hypnotic one. There we go. Okay, for those people coming in with the raid, I want you to stare deeply into this spinning ciliate. And I'm going to count backwards from 10. Listen to the music and my voice. Welcome, Raiders.
Nothing is impossible.
It,
Not if you can imagine.
it already worked. That one of them followed just from that. I'm using my hypnosis on you. We're looking at some live organisms in the microscope. And this one just likes to spin. It's a ciliate.
Good news, everyone.
The green thing you see right here, it's a algae that is oscillatoria. And I guess you didn't realize this, but it's not just a circle. It's like a bag. I knew that. I was waiting for it to reveal itself. But from the top, it was just spinning, and it looked like a circle. And in fact, it's a ciliate that's sort of bag-shaped, and then the top of it is surrounded by this series of sort of a ring of hairs. And about to slide off of my field of view, so move it a little bit. Well, that's what the organism actually looks like. Pretty cool. I don't know that it's biting it. It doesn't have any teeth. WW. It's that little cilia that it uses to funnel stuff into its mouth, and also that's how it moves around. So, just doing a little bit of late night microscope work. And hello, Pragmatic. Nice to see you. No! Oh no! We're getting another raid. It's the time of night where everybody raids me, apparently.
Nothing is impossible.
Welcome in, paleontologizing. We've got little critters, and I got the dark field running.
Good news,
And
everyone.
this little guy was just hypnotizing everybody and trying to convince them that they should follow me. And it was working perfectly, till it turned sideways,
everyone.
and we found out that it wasn't just a circle, it is in fact bag-shaped. But it's like a bag full of stars, so still pretty cool. And it's parked itself on this oscillatoria. But I like that because it means it's not going to go anywhere. And it's some sort of ciliate. It was sitting sort of perfectly vertical, so we could only see the circle part with the cilia spinning. And exactly. This one's just stuck, so it hasn't realized that it's stuck, I think. And it thinks it's moving through the water. They don't have eyes, so it's doing its best to move forward, and it's stuck. Yes, my objective is to mesmerize people, also to memorize them with a bag full of stars. And it seems to be working. So, how was your stream, paleontologizing? Hopefully it was great, as usual. Oh, it's going back to being a circle. Now is the time when you'll get mesmerized for real. Prepare yourselves. Now, stare deeply into the circle and listen to the sound of my voice. And if you're out there and you don't know who paleontologizing is, I think I've got a command for that. Stream was really good. Looking forward to your last day of teaching tomorrow so you can focus on science and fieldwork and more streaming. It's your last day for the semester, right? For the school year. You're not like done teaching forever, right? This footage would be awesome for Mind of a Snail. They're welcome to clip a little bit of it, or they can catch the VOD and you can put it back into their stream. Because it's not Sunday, but it is pretty hypnotizing. And this is the way this thing was spinning when we first came to it. It was just sitting here making a circle. That thing to the left of it is actually a rotifer, not a slug. And it is also spinning its cilia, which are out here. Give me a second. We'll zoom in and take a look at it as well. It's got its own little mesmerizing going on. Like a little vacuum cleaner. And Hypno Micro demands that you follow. Exactly. Let's see.
Nothing is impossible.
Hey Claire Bear, how's it
Not
going?
if you can imagine it.
Oh, we did see that. I think somebody posted it to my Discord as well. The rotifer that they found with the mammoth frozen, then they just brought it back to life, which was fine. Totally normal for them to be able to go for a really long time without having to worry about whatever, and then coming back to life when the conditions are right. That is rotifer behavior 101. This is a rotifer as well. Pretty similar to the one that they showed in the picture, actually. Did they spin the other way in Australia? They may. They may. You never know. You dig the new music? This is some ambient music from Pretzel Rock, of course. Yeah, you stepped out for a second, Pack, and then everybody showed up. I'm here as the opening band for Pacific Plankton tonight. So if you're not following Pacific Plankton and you like Microscope streaming and you think this is cool, you're gonna really like that as well. I'm going to switch over to bright field, so DIC light. So close your eyes and picture yourself on an island while I flip through this really bright scene for a second.
Nothing is impossible. Not if
We'll
you can
fix
imagine.
it.
Good news, everyone.
The guys we've been looking at in bright field. And I'm gonna play with the settings just a little bit here because the polarizer's not in. That there is a copepod. And if you can't get enough of copepods, they're all over in Pacific Plankton stream. This one's being a good one. Good young lady. And just sitting on the stage for us. I feel like maybe I could move that down a little. And give you a good look at her. She is shy. You can see her legs right through her body because she's translucent. And that red dot you see is actually the eye. You can see the legs. She's moving her legs around. You can see right through her body at the legs right there. That's how she sort of jumps around. We're moving quite a bit. Zoom out because the 3x is kind of making it hard for me to keep up with her. The 5x will. There you go. Oh, it's Comrade Bubbles. Hi, Comrade Bubbles. Bubbles? Did I make a Bubbles command? Not yet. Or is it just Bubs? How do I not have a Bubbles command yet? Okay. Let's see. Hiding in the background. Here's the one we were looking at before in Darkfield. You can get a good view of that ciliate. That looked like a bag full of stars that we started with. There you go. You can actually see the little cilia all around its body. And what's really cool is the vortex that it's creating. You see these particles that are kind of moving in this little vortex. And in part, this is how they eat. I guess we just have to give you a shout out the old-fashioned way. Comrade Bubbles. Till I get that command added. I might be the opening act now, but someday you'll headline whole stadiums. Well, maybe. It sounds like a lot of work. Here's, it moved, but it got stuck on something else, so we like that about this one. Not going very far. Sorry, I'm just trying to catch up with chat a little bit. It's a challenge when I'm trying to run the microscope at the same time. You got a split? Okay, we'll see you later, Claire. Thank you for dropping in with Pacific, or with the paleontologizing crew. It's not a big deal. Vortex like a tiny galaxy? Yeah, exactly. It's the lampshade. Actually, you can see it has some sort of like a fringe is right here on both sides, and then it has a couple of rows of cilia going around its body. Here's one, here's one, here's one. So like a barrel with a couple of rings of cilia. And then there's a big fringe around its actual mouth, which is here somewhere. And then it's got something coming out. We saw this when it was kind of looking at it end on as well. Yeah, it's pretty neat to see the mechanics of their eating. And it's clearly digging through some of this material and trying to get some of the bacteria or whatever to move off of it, because it keeps parking itself up against it. And this is how it eats. Pretty cool little guy. I've never seen this one before. I don't know the name of it. Off the top of my head. Somewhere I have a book on these things. I think it's on the shelf. One second. You watch that, I'll be right back.
Well, pull up a chair.
Totally not sure where the book went. That's okay. The, on sort of the middle of last week, I had guests stay with us for the first time since the pandemic, and then I had to clean up my office, and now clean, but I can't find anything. Oops, he's off. We can track it. Sitting sort of stationary. They're not actually spinning. Altimeter. The cilia actually just wave, like in place. It looks like they're spinning because they wave them sequentially, like they're doing the wave at a stadium, like fans at a basketball game or whatever. And it just took off. Oh, it came back. So they don't actually spin. They just kind of do this, but they're doing it like this. So it looks like they spin.
Good news, everyone.
Thank you for all the follows, by the way. Very kind of you. I stream from the Light Microscope maybe once or twice a week, kind of randomly in the evenings. And more frequently, I stream from a scanning electron microscope during the days. Tomorrow I will be streaming from a scanning electron microscope. That is a copepod nauplius right there. I think it's just a molt. And the algae that's next to it is Oscillatoria, as I mentioned, and it actually is moving on its own. They kind of move in the water, sort of back and forth, which is where they get their name from. I'm not exactly sure how they do that. I think they have little tiny cilia on them as well that allow them to do that. And we're gonna jump back out to the full size, and then I'm gonna just browse around a little and see what we can find. This Oscillatoria is also moving just a little bit in the water. How you know that they're healthy. That rotifer is also just sort of parked there. We were watching it earlier, but I was kind of hoping it would stick its little corona out. Oh, it did. Pulled its corona back out. So let's zoom in and see if we can check it out, because it's a pretty cool little guy. Girl. They're all girls, by the way.
Nothing is impossible. Not if you can imagine it.
That's a Deloid rotifer. And these are called corona. They're just like the cilia aspects that we saw on the other thing. They do the same sort of behavior. They're little hairs. And they also will cause gyre. You can see the particles moving. Those are moving because of the gyre that's being created. And then its mouth is right in here. And when it puts these corona away, they can actually tuck them inside their head. Kind of cool. Just the mouth will be sticking out. And it also has a little bit of a cilia around it. And then it's eating. This is the jaw. That's the mastax, and when they eat, stuff basically moves into the digestive system through that component. That's not a heart. And then let's see. Zulu said that diatom is thick. There is a diatom. I get my name. I study diatoms, and there is a diatom here. Diatoms are a type of golden brown algae that are, some of them are mobile, sort of like the other ones, only these don't have cilia. They move around a little bit more like a snail or a slug does. They drag themselves along by a little slit in the valve. And positive what the genus for this one is, because it's got chloroplasts in it, and I'm used to looking at them without chloroplasts. But I'm gonna guess that it's either star anise or anomanies. So, hard to tell with the chloroplasts in the way. But diatoms have a siliceous skeleton around the outside. There's a copepod. She is. See her little feet sticking out the bottom again. And not a fan of the light, apparently. There's also some other ciliates in here. This is, I think, just a paramecium. You can see those little cilia all around the outside of its body. Tweak it a little bit so you can see them better using the differential interference contrast. About as good a view you're going to get of a paramecium right there. What kind of creatures would eat those algae? So, for whose name is this? Diatoms are eaten by basically everything. That's everything that will fit into the mouth of. So, fish, snails, invertebrates, like aquatic insect larvae, and even amoeba and other things that are found in these sort of settings. So they are basically the base of the food web here because they're autotrophic. The larger organism, the Oscillatoria, probably could only be eaten by something like a fish, but they're probably not a preferential food for fish. But they might eat it if they were hungry, like the goldfish might scrape them away on the sides. You remember having to draw paramecium in amoeba? Yeah. Pretty common for people to look at them in elementary school. You probably don't have views quite like these. This is a $20,000 microscope with a differential interference contrast objective on it and a $1,000 camera attached to it. So probably didn't get views like this in high school. But if you did, probably went to a pretty rich school. This is my lab microscope that I've borrowed for streaming and working at home, mostly during COVID, but still keeping it at home for now. We'll follow this guy around a little. See what else we can find. So these big blobs that you see here are actually lemna. They're duckweed, and sample I collected intentionally because I thought it would be kind of interesting to look at something that had duckweed in it. Paramecium. Because I don't usually look at things that have duckweed in them. That is a testate amoeba, but it looks like it's just the test. I don't see the amoeba in it. Crappy illustration in a dog-eared book. Yeah. Probably correct. For most of us. A little copepod. More Oscillatoria. That is a coleps. This little brown looking barrel-shaped thing. Another type of ciliate that we see pretty regularly. They're sort of decomposers, so you might find them sort of feasting on corpses. Go around. You see a lot of them, it means probably most of the things in your sample are dead. They are there to decompose for the most part. So, another one of these little bag-shaped rotifers, or ciliates. Some more coleps. A flatworm hiding behind the... There it comes. It's right here, sort of hiding behind this piece of duckweed. And I think that's a copepod nauplius, and there's a copepod. Kind of cruising around. So, if you're into nature, I sometimes will also stream from my camera directly out into nature. And I look at things like
Good news, everyone.
the moon, birds. I keep trying to stream a storm, but it's not working because the storms keep passing us by. There's a little copepod nauplius. So they have, I think it's 6 or 7 molts from this stage before they turn into that other thing that we saw sort of swimming around. And you got an endorsement from Comrade Bubbles right there. She loves the stream, and
Good news, everyone.
pretty fast. That's you can see the Oscillatoria is actually moving again. So people think that algae just kind of sit there, but a lot of algae are kind of partially mobile or very mobile. Thank you for the cheer, that's amazing. If you haven't been to my stream before, I should probably warn you that I don't take any of the money that comes in from Twitch. I turn it all over to use to pay for student research in my lab. So none of it comes into my salary. I get paid to do my job. This is just something I do mostly for fun. Oh, and Pacific Plankton is taking off. She's probably got to get her own stream together. So we'll be joining Pacific Plankton when I get to the end of this stream, which is either when she starts or when my wife comes and kicks me off the microscope and the computer. She wants to record lectures for tomorrow. She's also a professor. And my cat, Wednesday, who is very interested in what's going on up here. And say hello. Every time I stream, she shows up. And then she wants to see what's in the microscope sometimes. You want to look in there? You've seen those before? She likes to hop up here every time I stream for some reason. Leave me alone the rest of the time. Most part. I'm not sure what this is. Besides big and ridiculously hairy, I have no idea what that is. And I don't know who to ask. I'm not sure what that is. It looks like somebody mixed together a porcupine and a ciliate. You think it's an amoeba? Oh, it's moving. It's still alive, whatever it is. Yep. I don't know what that is. It's very possibly an amoeba. That's the hairiest amoeba I've ever seen. But, that's probably a better guess than anything I could come up with. I don't see it moving very much, but in here I keep seeing pieces of it move around, and it's not because I'm moving the stage. It's responding to something else. So that creepy thing also ate something. Some bits of lunch that it had right there. Right there. I don't know what it ate, but it rolled over something. Ooh, a vampirellid. That would be amazing. An amoeba with hairy legs. Lunchtime is exposed. Yeah, exactly. How would you like it if you were, like, translucent and people could see what you had and they'd be like, oh my god. Doritos again? Every time you walked by. I feel like that'd be terrible. What a crazy looking thing. I've never seen one of these before. That's pretty cool. There's also a little copepod up here hanging out next to our monster. No idea what that is. It's huge. That's the zoomed in view. That is the zoomed out view. If you're wondering exactly how big it is, that is a question we can answer. That is the skill bar with no multiplier on it. So it's about 0.5 millimeter, plus or minus. Pretty close to that size. Pretty big. Oh, it's an Arkella key for naked amoeba. Ooh, that is cool, Jolkson. If you don't know who Jolkson is, I think they might be streaming on the other side of us over here. should check them out. You can find them right here. Not necessarily recommending you leave my stream right now and go see his stream, but you know, definitely add them if you're interested. In fact, if you like Microscope streamers, here's how we roll. There's a whole bunch of them, and there's still some that I don't include, or haven't included because they don't stream regularly from a Microscope. But that's a good starting list for you if you're looking for where do I get more Microscope streaming? Where do I find more content like this on Twitch? That is the home of something. And that looks like a Euglena we're seeing right there. Like the tail end of it. Positive about that though. Got a long spindly head. Oh, maybe it's another Dileptus? Oh, one of those. You're ending soon? Okay. Hey, grow up, Proza. How's it going? Did you grow up yet? Maybe that is a Dileptus. We saw one of those the other day, and I thought that they were really incredible. And it had a really long neck like this one, and so it wasn't nearly as big as this one, though. I think it's what it is Dileptus. Another ciliate. Let's see. I'll get that into focus for you. Yep, it's Dileptus. That is. You can see around the outside edge, it's got little cilia spinning everywhere. And it's got like a tail, and it's got this big old neck. And one of the things we observed on a previous stream is there's sort of like a neck hole up there at the top of it. And it will open that up and try to swallow stuff. We've seen it try to eat things before. So these are predators moving around in this landscape. It's looking for food with its head. And that thing that's sticking off the front is sort of like a elephant trunk in the way that they use it. And then their mouth is basically sort of like a basket structure. Is this live? Yeah, of course it's live. You want to see, I'll focus right now. Got a focus? Now it's in focus. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna zoom out. Yeah, we're live. It's moving in real time. You're watching what's in my microscope over here. I tweak the control. That is that organism, so you can't see that's the actual microscope I'm using right there. And we're watching a Dileptus. Pretty cool looking little guy. All this, the ones we saw before had sort of like a row of little jewels that ran down the body. That was kind of cool. This one is actually one of my favorite little critters. These sort of long-necked things are kind of cool. Yeah, I sometimes just stream fossiliferous material, diatom material, scanning electron stuff. Recently I've been doing a little bit more bird sounds and birds in the morning, doing a little birding with live photography and live photography of the moon. And I just kind of do whatever right now. Summertime, I've got a little bit more time than usual. Tomorrow we're going to be looking at things on the scanning electron microscope, including a millipede, some kitty whiskers, and milkweed, and a giant beetle I found on my windowsill that was dead, but just recently died. Alright, I'm trying to concentrate on repositioning this while I'm talking.
Good news, everyone!
Just poo. Just poo. See. Yeah, this one is really cute. For a predator. There you can see the little bubble-like structures running down its side of the neck. Really fortunate it'll open up the mouth, and it really kind of frightening display because it kind of has like a cone shape to it, and if it flips over at just the right angle and finds something to eat, it will open it up and just swallow it. It's pretty cool. Do these critters eat green bars? They do sometimes eat algae. I think most of the time they prefer to get, they'll eat the other protozoa that are in here. That guy's a little too big to fit in its mouth, probably. So it's safe. But the smaller ones are, you know, if they'll fit in there. That's actually its whole head. Sorry, just poo. Its head sort of starts right here. Its mouth is right in this little component right here. That'll open up into a little cone shape. And this is sort of like an elephant trunk. So that's its head. And this is the tail end down here. And its main body is right here. Hopefully that's clear. Until it eats, you won't really have a complete understanding of it, but it kind of folds open like an envelope at the top and just consumes whatever gets close. And there it is. You can see the mouth kind of right there. They also have little stingers that shoot out and grab prey and pull them in right into their mouth. So if it wasn't frightening enough, you can kind of see the mouth fold is right here. It'll kind of expand that out, and then stuff will just zoom in there as it pulls them in. It'll look like a tractor beam basically pulled it into its mouth. Somebody captured one of those. We were looking at one in the light microscope. How does it move? How does it propel itself? So, Froza, you can see around the outside edge, there's this sort of like glimmer. There's little tiny hairs that are all around its body, and it uses those for mobility. So those little glimmer are little hairs that it uses. They're like, you know, moving like this. And because they're so small, the water is a bit more like a solid for them, or like a gel. And so the little hairs moving allow them to kind of crawl through the water. And that's primarily their sort of primary mode of movement with respect to like traveling from one place to another. And if they really get going, sometimes they'll spin their body and just sort of funnel through the water very quickly. But this one's been just sort of parked, which is amazing. I love it when they just kind of park and let me take a look at them. But a lot of times they'll just be zipping around and you won't be able to keep up with them. They're moving so fast. So a lot of these little guys, they can really put on some speed if they need to. Yeah, it's got like a proboscis. It's pretty cool. And it's sort of flat. It's like ribbon shaped. I don't know if you can tell that until it actually kind of wiggles it around. But it sort of tapers into a ribbon. You thought the neck was its tail? No, that's definitely it's sort of like an elephant trunk more than anything. Sort of sniffs around with it. See, it's like looking where the food might be with it in the way that an elephant might. There, it looks like it has two little eyes, but that's not what those are. Those are eyes. It has little vacuoles that it has all along the length of the trunk. And they actually go all the way down the body, but I think this one's all full of food. There you can see it's like a ribbon. And its tail is actually this end, right here. That's the tail, this little tiny bit. Got a cute little tiny tail, yeah. That's the tail end. I think it's really gorgeous, especially here in the DIC light. Kind of crank down the light a little bit. Highlight the cilia. A really pretty little ciliate. And this one is incredibly large. I think this is the largest one I've ever seen. I mean, that's not saying a whole lot. So I changed our zoom factor. This is the... Where did that go? I don't know where that... My scale bar disappeared for that one. Bigger scene. Don't know. I'm gonna have to find it. The reason that they are usually flat for the camera. I don't know what you mean exactly. Its body is sort of like a fish body. It's only partially wide, so it's looking flat because it is mostly flat. And then its neck is really kind of like a ribbon. So fish-shaped, yeah. I don't know. The microscope that I use is... Why are they usually side on for the microscope? Yeah, so I don't think that they necessarily are. I think that they've got sort of like two possible positions that they could easily be in. They're laying on. So that's just because of they're asymmetrically shaped. They're shaped like a lens in profile. So they just pooped out some stuff. Microscope that we're using is this one. It's a Leica DM2500, and it has a 5, 10, 20, 40, and 100x objectives, and we're actually looking at it at the 10x objective with a 10 times magnification for the eyepiece, and then my camera is multiplying that by 3, so we're not quite 300 times, but we're kind of close to 210 times magnification, something like that, 230? I don't know the exact number. Pretty affiliate. Alright, we had that crazy giant amoeba with the spines. This is the best stream? Well, I'm glad you feel that way, Bubbles. I like your streams too. Here's a big copepod. He's just hanging out. Out a little bit for her. Too big. You can kind of maybe zoom in on her head. It's got a, that was kind of cool. So the copepod is this bigger organism right here that's like bullet shaped. And this little fan of things that are down here, that's not part of the, copepod. That's a bunch of little ciliates that have attached themselves to the copepod. And you can see they're spinning their little cilia to get food. And when something disturbs them, they retract a little bit. That's what's going on. So it's not... Yeah, it's an expensive microscope. You're not going to buy this one unless you've got a funding source. This is a $20,000 microscope. So that's like most people's car, or maybe multiple cars. If you're impressed with the cost of this microscope, you'd be even more impressed with the cost of my scanning electron microscope. So that one's $160,000, and I'll be streaming from that tomorrow, from my SEM lab. Yes, I did see that news, Froza, that I think I was in the same stream you were in with Dell, where they're sending water bears and baby squids to the International Space Station. We took away our ciliates by taking off. Oh no, here they are. Yeah, so you can see the little ciliates are actually spinning. They're using this as a surface to grow on, and that's normal for copepods. They play this source as a substrate. Move, I am a paleoecologist, but I study lake organisms. And so, not a biologist, but I have to know a lot of ecology, and I need to know a lot about lake organisms in particular. Be good at my job. So, yeah, this thing you just buy once and then don't screw up, keep it clean with chem wipes, basically. And you can have this thing basically run forever just with changing the light bulb. So it finally got tired of us being here. Oh, there it is. Let's go look around. The slide's starting to dry up a bit. And I think all this out here is kind of dried up. And it's because I didn't put a cover slip on it. And it's gonna get problematic for everybody here in this slide. But because I didn't put a cover slip on it, I can also just add a little bit more of our to the actual slide and hopefully hydrate all of the organisms here. And maybe we'll find something new. Oh, there's a flatworm. Cool little flatworm. It just zoomed out of here. And some more copepods everywhere. There's one with eggs. Those were egg sacs that it was shuffling around with. That was a mama copepod. There's a little nauplius, and that thing that just got run over was a ciliate. Everybody's got excited because stuff coming from the jars suddenly got a lot of light. Stuff that's living here suddenly has a lot of water. So, see how much water's on the... Here's one of these guys again. Sort of bag-like creatures that we had at the beginning, the hypnotic ones. And that... the worm, I believe. Check out all the ends of it here before it takes off. Yeah, that's a worm. Big worm. Kind of hard to... everything's kind of moving at once, so... try to... right? There? That worm's just like, I know you want to look at the ciliate, but how about you look at me? Okay. You do want to follow up on what they find? Yeah, it's kind of cool for organisms, but I don't know if you remember in that stream I mentioned that I think they picked these iconic organisms to send up to space because they get a news article about it. If they just sent rotifers up, everybody'd be like, ugh, a rotifer. Or if they sent up nematode worms, everybody'd be like, who cares? But if you send up a little squid that everybody thinks is cute and glows in the dark, that's going to get you a press release. You're going to hydrate too? Good idea. Rosa, am I using a Canon camera? No, this is a an Olympus OMD EM1. That's the information on my camera. This is the Mark II. And when I stream from, when I stream for birds or whatever, I usually use the Mark III, which is the nicer one. When I do my photography streams that are just straight photography, I usually use that one. A little ciliate. It's sort of fish-shaped. Same way as the other one. It's kind of got asymmetric body plan. There's a bunch of stuff kind of stuck in there. All over the place. You can find something. Oh, there's a big Nauplius. That one's getting close. That's probably right one stage before they become an actual copepod. It's really full size. And if a copepod swims by, you'll see it's almost the same size as a copepod. So that guy's a big one. So they molt something like 6 times before they reach adulthood. 5 or 6 times. Oh, and that's a giant chironomid. That's a chironomid midge, or larva. Monstrous worm-like thing is actually a non-biting fly. It's got a little arm that it's crawl, or 2 arms it's using to crawl around with, and it's got 2 arms in the back, or legs in the back right here, helping it crawl. Have like fan-like ending edges of them. Up behind a giant piece of duckweed. Here it is. And like everything else in the sample, these are predators, so they might come across something and eat it. You can see their whole digestive system, like everything else, they're translucent. So I have some colleagues who study chironomids, and they use them for reconstructing things like temperature and lake depth, because the head capsules and some of the body parts will fossilize. So if you're coming from paleontologizing stream, the chitinous material on these things basically will fossilize in lake sediments. Yeah, so that's a chironomid. You probably know chironomids from the flying stage of their life cycle. They look like a mosquito, except for they kind of have fuzzy antennas and they don't bite anything. They don't attack people. So I think they eat bugs or something, or maybe they don't eat at all in their adult life. You live near the deepest man-made lake in the UK. I grew up looking at magnifications of organisms in it in a nature center nearby. Oh, that's cool. This is another level. Pretty cool. It's nice to be able to just look at whatever is in the water. These are from, I forgot to mention, it's a small pond from a park that's nearby. These are from Hawthorne Park. Actually, the wetlands outside of Hawthorne Park. Oh, there's a giant worm. A giant flatworm. Also a big predator. And I was out walking, and I saw somebody had thrown some... it's pretty fat. I saw that somebody had thrown a Dr. Pepper bottle on the park, and just like trash. And I picked it up, I rinsed it out in the lake, and then I scooped some material into it. Yeah. Kaiju fight! That is probably the biggest flatworm I've ever seen, too. There's a lot of giant things. Oh, there's another worm. A little baby one. I think. That's... Oh! Giant copepod that was looking for a fight. I don't know where this thing thinks it's going. It's probably just looking for lunch. Okay. It's getting close to midnight, and I just wanted to do a short little stream where we look at some of this material. You know, the evening streams are usually just whatever I come across in my day. I was out taking pictures of dragonflies. If you follow the link in my camera thing to my Instagram page, there's a whole bunch of pictures from when I went out. I was out for about an hour and a half collecting images of dragonflies. And if you're into dragonflies, you'll like those photos. I focus especially on getting nice high magnification images from I hike around. And I'm at lakes anyways, so I figured I might as well grab a sample. And this is a pretty good one. If you want to see the actual sample, it's in a pickle jar now. So here's the exciting... I'm a fan of the Clausen pickles, always refrigerated. But sort of see the sample's got. Try to showcase that. Kind of see I use a little pipette and it just was putting it onto the
Good news, everyone.
Basically, the entirety of my prep for this was squeeze this onto that slide and then turn on the microscope in the camera. Have a low. Do I have a macro lens? Yes. I use macro, and also I have a really high-powered telephoto lens as well. Those are my... I've got basically every type of range covered. I've got an ultra-wide, a wide-angle, a sort of a practical lens, and then I've got a very high-quality telephoto and a very high-quality telephoto zoom. So, and I like photography. It's what I do when I need to get away from work or stress of my normal job or whatever. I like to do a little microscopy and also some photography. So really, my whole streaming is either me working or me doing things that I like to do, get away from work. But I love sharing nature, and so I just go ahead and take pictures of whatever, post them on Instagram. By practical, I just mean like mid-range stuff that you could use. My ultra-wide is a Olympus 7 to 14 millimeter, and it's actually double that because it's a mirrorless, so it's actually more like a 14 millimeter to 28. But it's the pro version of the lens, which costs like $1,200. So it's a pretty good lens. It's a solid piece of glass. You do photography and cinematography professionally. Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, so I just meant like something that I can use that covers sort of from the high end of wide angle to the low end of telephoto. You're used to the terminology. Yeah, everything is 2 times the camera length. It's a mirrorless 4/3, so everything is double, actually. So if you're if I tell you my telephoto is like a 100 to 400, yeah, I actually think it's really nice for macro. So, and my macro lens is a 60 millimeter prime, which is actually a 120 millimeter in practical, in the regular lens range. But that Olympus 60 millimeter is just an amazing macro lens. And I've spent most of my time trying to figure out how to become a dragonfly whisperer. I'm extremely patient as a photographer, so I will just creep up on them super slowly until I am as far away from my camera right now as I am from dragonfly, and then I'll just take pictures until I get tired of that one and move to the next one. Pretty close shots. Okay, I think it's actually time for Pacific Plankton, probably started by this point. Check. We'll give her a raid. Ah, she has. Perfect.
Actually, you're really
so
tired. I was up. I'm on the east.
Pacific Plankton is buddy streamer. She moderates for me, and I moderate for her, and you should definitely give her a follow. And we're gonna go give her a raid. So it was a pretty short stream. This stuff looks pretty stable, so I might be able to stream again Thursday with the same stuff. We'll see. I might do a little start a little bit sooner on Thursday. I think I'm free in the evening, so I'm gonna maybe give it a shot. There's a ton of people that followed, and I don't think I can get through all of it before it sends us on the raid, but we got something like 25 new viewers, followers. So Dulios, Jagar, Terra Firma, Just Poo, we got cheers from Dark Knight 404, so thank you for that. Bill Hog, Diamond Dog, Dark Knight 404, Leo, Polka, Ked, Zulu Zulu, Randall 1, Move FX20. Greetings from space, Mr. GTX, Altimeter Error, WW, Maxwell Snacks, Princess Bookworm 88, Paleontologizing with the big raid, thank you for that. Rakow, Poop Man, Crafty Skull, Corvus, Black Apple Creative, great raid from Stray Robotics, and a subscription from Gillathon. Thanks everybody, and we're gonna pop over to Pacific Plankton Stream. So if you're excited about Microscope stuff, we'll get some more of it. Okay, thanks. See you.